Okay, so we're meeting for retrospective one. So briefly, we did a lot during these 2.5 weeks for the sprint one, and we just wanted to go over everything that we accomplished, what can be improved, and items to work on for the future. So if anybody wants to speak about anything that what we accomplished, we can go ahead and do that, and I'll put some of the sticky notes up here.
Mhm. So about good things that we accomplished, I would say is the role distribution. Like pretty early on, we came together and we divided the work. We talked about how each of us is gonna do their stuff individually, but also get together when things get tough and if we need, each other. So I think that's something that went really well. And I guess that would also fall under the category of good communication in a sense. So that's definitely something that went well.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, I think something that went really well with us was the idea of the app. It came easily. Like we only had two options, and then she came with this idea of the sign machine learning. So and we all agreed to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a really good idea too, because we were bouncing back and forth between a couple of different ideas, and then we were able to narrow it down like fairly quickly. And G came up with the concept, and then we all we're excited to work on that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think that was really good. And then we basically accomplished everything also that that we were assigned for this deliverable um on time and actually ahead of time. Um we're working on stitching all the videos together, but it's due in 2 days, and I'll have that final product done by tomorrow. So we'll be ahead of schedule. So I think that's a good lead. Um, and also, I think the fact that like Renee too, like you started working on the front end of the app as well during this deliverable period. So I think that's a good head start that we have too.
Yeah. And also he helped me out with the whole setup. And thanks again, Renee. That
Yeah, you're
helped.
welcome.
Set up.
And
And
as we mentioned before, we have made up our mind to the main idea of the application and the role distributions. But during this entire process, I believe everybody is participating, like join the process of like brainstorming as for the project idea. So I believe that's very good, like member participation here for everybody.
yep, exactly. In idea and concept.
And also our Scrum Master was able to assist us in a manner time, like quickly, very quickly. We were very good, yeah.
Easy access. I think
Yeah.
Discord helps a lot, with the direct communication. So I think that's a really good point too. Discord communication. And I'm just gonna put one more for okay. So I think that's a lot. That's a lot of good things. Um, so moving on from there, what can be improved?
So mainly, I guess the time management in the sense that because of our other stuff that we need to get done, we've been having a little trouble meeting on the times that we set up. So I guess this is something that we actually also talked about, and we have changed the days also. I guess that would fall under action items, but yeah, I would say just the time management really.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Especially because we had the communication is very good, especially through Discord. We're pretty much on it and replying like pretty quickly. So I think the time management and scheduling the calls, like you said, Fario,
Yeah.
is probably the biggest sources of like improvement that we need to work on. And, you know, a lot of it also, you know, I've been traveling. So, you know, we originally aligned on Monday, you know,
Yeah.
for a first meeting for each week. And it seems like that's just not really working out too well, especially with my traveling schedule, which was booked ahead of time.
Mm.
So, and I didn't realize that. So, yeah, so that for an action item, that'll be something that we can add there as well.
Right.
I'm just gonna put uh, scheduling consistent meeting times. Does anybody else have anything to add to that?
Yeah, so to be honest, I believe our team is not like the most experienced like developer as for the coding part.
Mhm.
And the choosing the idea of like machine learning is definitely challenging, but the main like idea of the like project course, I believe, is about learning, and I believe that's something we can working on, just getting more like knowledge of like the machine learning part and like application development part. That's, I believe that's something we can maybe improve.
Okay, yeah. So I guess, you know, more involved in the like researching or doing our own research in terms of like the different programming languages that we're using and the different tools that we're going to use as well.
Like overall, I guess the learning process needs to be a little bit more intensified in a sense.
Should be more intensive aid.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else have anything to add?
No.
Okay.
Mm.
So we'll move on to the action items. So in terms of the time management and scheduling the meeting times, I think the most important thing is just to look ahead on our schedules. And we had talked about this briefly as well for the next couple of weeks and months, just to make sure that, you know, there's not going to be any, you know, scheduled conflicts that any of us will have. Um, so I think that you know, going forward, just we have to see that, you know, emergencies come up, you know, sometimes you can't control that. You know, things come up, we all have busy lives. So, you know, we understand, you know, if somebody can't meet a meeting, we can always recap. That's not a problem. But just to make sure that we have like a consistent schedule. So I think just I would say like looking ahead for any like previously planned trips or items and planning around that.
Yeah.
So I know we had talked about moving our Monday meetings to Tuesday. Since I tend to be traveling like Fridays and Mondays whenever I travel for the weekends. So typically next week would be the only time that in the coming weeks that I'll be traveling during that time. So that's the only exception for me. We can always just work around that, and we have really good communication in general, you know, about meeting times. So I don't think that's going to be an issue, you know, and but just to make it consistent, I do think that we should probably move it to Tuesday nights instead of Mondays, and make sure everybody is aware. And maybe even, you know, Fridays, I know people go out and do things, so maybe like moving it a bit earlier on Fridays, instead of at 6, maybe 5. If we can do that, you know, just some sort of problem solving for this.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. And anything else that anybody wants to add?
I guess when we're talking about action items, then going back to what she said, also, you know, putting a little bit more time and effort into our skills that needs to be still enhanced, especially for the app development. So I guess that could be another bullet point for the action items.
Yep. I agree. And also I would add that too, which actually we've been really good at too. But assisting each other, you know, if anybody's confused, you know, like we've been really good on that too.
Yeah.
With specific software and stuff. So I'm just gonna put it as an action item, you know, just to help with that. But we've been pretty consistent with that. But just to keep moving forward with that.
Yeah.
So assisting other teammates. Regarding learning new processes. Okay. Anybody else have anything else you want to add?
Well, I don't know if this only applies to me, but I think I believe we should put something about the agile system, because I didn't know anything about agile until now. So I've been going through the lectures, and I know that the lectures are aligned with the project. So
Mhm.
each week that I know that each week it's gonna be depending of each week that we're gonna work on the project, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
So
so
I think agile.
yeah, I agree. I think you know, looking at the lectures and like the textbook and the way that the layout is and kind of aligning
Yeah,
ourselves with you know, that kind of process.
yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I agree with that too. Um, is that it?
Yeah, I think we summed up everything pretty nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. No, I agree. And I think you know, we did a lot this week or the past 2 weeks, and we identified what could be improved, and now we have a plan going forward. And we'll meet on Tuesday to discuss, you know, the specifics on how to improve everything. And the change, I mean, we already discussed the change in the timing, but I'm going to amend the teamwork agreement so it reflects that as well. So we have that in there.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds
Yeah.
good.
I think that's it. So everybody have a nice weekend.
Yeah.
Great. Same to you guys.
Thank you guys.
All
Bye.
right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.